just want to clarify a few things about marijuana companies. People are misunderstanding that I'm saying that as if they think I'm against marijuana. I use medical marijuana every night. I'm a customer of Afria, and I have been for many years, and I use the marijuana to get off of the hardcore drugs that the specialist doctors are putting me on that are brutal, and so it helps me a lot, and it's a lot cheaper and a lot more effective. I'm not against marijuana, and I think it's a great thing, especially for kids who are having seizures. That kind of stuff is very important. There's all sorts of benefits that we have not yet recognized, and we're just learning about them all now. I'm not against marijuana, and I'm not against the whole concept of marijuana companies, all of that. I think it's great. It's the next new thing that's going to be growing in popularity. What I'm against is these companies that happen to be popular and increasing in price simply because they're in the industry. There's been companies that were mining companies who went almost bankrupt, and they just changed their name. They put marijuana or cannabis in the title. There's a lot of companies doing marijuana consulting, whatever the hell that means, and then the price goes up so much. And I'm saying that it's a crowded trade. There's way too many people who are getting in on this. What I'm more warning against is that it's a crowded, popular trade. Everybody's getting on board, so that means there's a lot less opportunity for you to find good values and profits. And many of these companies, which I started originally warning about, are over-the-counter stocks trading on the dark markets, and they are financial train wrecks. They're terrible. They have tens of millions of dollars in debt. They have no revenues yet. And then people will argue with me and say, yeah, but that's because it's not legal yet. How can they have revenues? Once it gets legal, then the revenues will come next. And that's the way that they think that the companies will grow over time. That's kind of makes subjective sense, but it's kind of logical, but not really. What happens is when marijuana and cannabis becomes acceptable, then you've got the big players who swoop in and take over the market. This is what's happened again and again and again and again. It's going back to when there's first bigger companies who could bully around smaller companies. There's a lot of these companies who all they have is the concept. They have the concept that they're going to be selling marijuana, different types of hemp ropes and different kinds of pharmaceuticals, and it's going to make all this money once they can sell it more widely. And I do not agree with that, and I'm always saying no matter what, how good the concept is, whether they have a cure for cancer, no matter how amazing the concept of the company is, it's never good when the company has way too much debt and not enough revenues, and they're a financial train wreck with nothing except the idea of cannabis. And if that's what they're banking their future on, no, that's not a good investment. People come along now and they act like they just discovered that marijuana is going to be the next big thing. This has been known, and so how do you think that you're going to come along now and jump on board and then make all this money? The money to be made has already come and gone. There was money to be made, but not so much anymore. I don't see any of these companies doubling or tripling in price anytime soon, even when cannabis does become legalized. So a lot of investors who think that it's a good way to invest is a good idea coming up, and so then you throw money at it. They're not looking at the books of the companies. They're not looking at how much trouble these companies are in. Some of them have so much debt already and no revenues and so much expenses that there's no way that they're going to fiscally ever recover and get back to where they need to be. The share price therefore will not go up anymore, in my opinion. And I'm talking about not all companies. A lot of companies that will be producing marijuana products and cannabis products will do okay as the industry grows. It's a new industry, but it's going to go the same way it went with automobile manufacturers, and it's going to go the same way it's going to go with cryptocurrencies. It's going to consolidate. Most players in the industry, because it's easy to get into the industry, most players in the industry are going to be wiped out. It's easy to get in the industry to have your company say, yeah, we are in the industry of cannabis, and then all of a sudden people will buy the stock and push the price up. That's why there's no money to be made for investors, in my opinion, because it's a crowded trade. It's played, it's a tired trade, and that's what I'm warning against, is not getting involved in the concept, which is a great concept, when the company that you're getting involved in the concept with is a terribly financially broken investment. You should invest well in undervalued companies, and there aren't a lot of them right now in the marijuana space.